Believe we are going out live through the internet sphere. We are checking the connections as we speak, and if this is working for you, then please let us know in the chat room, and we could actually pop some of your comments up. We have some new technology we're trying out, and so it's definitely worth letting us know if this is working for you. Excuse me. So, thank you for tuning in. It is November 14th already, and this is the Tattoo Weekly. And I'm Gabe Ripley. I'm here with Fawn, and we have special guest Haley Adams beaming in bright and early from the Castro in San Francisco. Um, so like I said, let us know if this is working. Tag a friend that might be interested, and let them know that let us know that this is working. And I'm going to officially start right now. Okay, so welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Network, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are all encouraged to join into these live streams, to join us at real world events, to share, inspire each other, and ultimately to create better art and tattoos together. We're beaming out 4 days a week, and with your help, have evolved into an amazing network of quality live and on-demand shows you guys have been really encouraging. So thank you very much. Whenever we go out in person and see people, it's crazy how many kind words we get. So it encourages us to continue to improve upon the shows. So you could find the Reinventing the Tattoo and many of these fine places on either of the app stores. Pick your poison, Apple or Google. They track you both. They both track you. YouTube is the Reinventing the Tattoo channel. And if there's I have any hope that the AI will not take over, it's that their algorithms are just feeding me, nonsense still. But if click on the tattoo stuff and like, share, and subscribe, all that stuff. If you have Roku, there's 12 to 15 channels going on at any given time, 24/7. In the middle of the night when you're waiting for delivery or whatever. There's also Drunk Critique that's on there. It's pretty funny. We'll have to take it down at some point. But it's there now. And then we do all these audio recordings make their way to the podcast directories. So if you're listening, then you might want to hop on the YouTube or one of the video ones if you're interested to see what we are talking about. Okay, no matter where you are watching from, live or on demand, anywhere in the internet sphere, the latest and greatest information about reinventing the tattoo could always be found at, you guessed it, reinventingthetattoo.com. There is a free newsletter and there's no spam. If you're a tattooer and you let us know your goals, then guys typed up and made some videos for a whole bunch of ways to help you achieve your goals. So that part's all free. There's a couple of free courses there about history. You can't learn how to tattoo for free there. Don't worry about it. But there is a lot of courses there. And of course, the full Reinventing the Tattoo curriculum, which is it's like the original content from the book or the binder, but it's evolved for the last 25 years now. So it includes, guest videos. He has a great new an editor who's been working with him for a couple of years now. So each step of the way through the course of the tattoos and the new videos, it gets explained very, really well. It's awesome. In any event, check out the Reinventing the Tattoo canon. A lot of people can't, they talk about it. It's great. Says here to plug the last show, which was Monday morning drawing for tattooers with James Wisdom every 9:00 in the morning. James is hopping on and doing exercises with a bunch of great folks who are beaming in. Let's see, other weekly staples. We've got the Reinventing subscribers at 9 p.m. every Monday night. Thursdays at 6 p.m., we've got Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast with Fawn. And they do a couple hours talking about tattoo collecting usually from Red Tree or from various tattoo conventions and events. Lastly, let's support some of the sponsors and partners that make all of these shows possible. The WorldTattooEvents.com is the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. It's always updating. Alex is great. He's got new videos too, so you should definitely check out the videos if you can't make it to the conventions. Tattoo Now, I do technology for tattooers, looking for a couple more clients. We're doing a little bit of everything. It's great. We do the software. We have documentation, like business plan documentation, and then we have weekly meetings every Wednesday so that you don't get just my advice. You get lots of other cool people's advice. So let's please leave positive reviews on the channels and the comments so we can get the word out. Critiques and constructive criticisms can go to management@reinventingthetattoo.com. And I'm going to, look at that. Looks like we're going. We got viewers still, 21 viewers. This is great. Fawn, thanks for coming on again and helping with the show. This is amazing. I'm so excited. You're very motivating.
Oh, I'm feel like you motivate me to get up and be social and productive and all the things. Um,
Well, it's fun. I mean, anyway, I talk to myself so much that having someone like you, you're great, and you've been tattooing for forever, and so you've got an awesome perspective and doing all the stuff with the conventions. And I don't know. Anyways, I'm just wicked excited to have you. So thanks again.
well, always thanks for having me. I do like to, I like talking about the things that I learn and pick up along the way, and I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of kind of like backstage passes from different angles, so to speak.
Yeah,
The stuff
awesome.
that I do with you and reinventing and Paradise, and then the stuff I get to do with Derb through Red Tree and True Tubes. So like I see all kinds of different events. I get to meet all kinds of different tattooers. So it's really nice to have these outlets to like share the things that I pick up, because it would be a shame to not pass this information on to other people.
Yeah, that's sometimes I'm looking and I'm like, man, we don't have the fancy editors. We're not doing the clips. We're not exploding and going fire on YouTube. Turn. I don't know, however that works, but but to your point, like all the people and all the art and all the stories are, it's worth it. And there's enough people, that you don't need to have 80 million people. All it takes is a couple thousand. But so we have
Um,
Haley is on the line here, and did you meet her at the BYOB, or I remember that was the
yeah,
first time?
I've met Haley. I definitely we met at the BYOB, but I think we've been on several video calls and things like that together. So it's cool talking with Haley.
Awesome. Well, let's bring her on right now. Boom, and
Sweet.
hopefully, I should just click the buttons, and then boom, here we go.
Hello.
Ah,
Hello, welcome. Thanks
Thanks
for joining us.
yeah, thanks for coming in the morning. I remember
for having me.
we did a couple of videos. It was probably 5 years ago because I remember it was in the midst of a year that I was having issues and technical issues and business. I still have those interviews, and I think I even have it edited all the way through. I was embarrassed because I missed a fact, and then I did go back and edit it. And it didn't sound like it was that bad, and you were on point. And but I do have that interview still. So, but thank you for coming back a couple times, even though sometimes I drop the ball on that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that interview. I'm like, oh yeah, that's before so many things that happened in my life. And I was excited to do this one. I was like, oh, we have so much more to talk about.
It's crazy. But let's set the records. Do you remember that story that you were telling about the historical nature of was it Phil Sparrow maybe and
Oh
uh, he was
yeah.
apprenticing under Ed.
Yeah, or Phil Sparrow taught Ed Hardy how to
Ah,
tattoo, and I think we were talking about like how the like queer tattooers' legacies get buried, and how like people are really dismissive of that fact. They're always like, "Oh no, yeah, it's just like straight guys." Like, and then you're like, "Well, okay, Phil Sparrow and Cliff Raven are queer tattooers in history," and then people are always like, "Oh, I don't know. Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I'm so sure." He dated Dr. Kinsey and helped create the Kinsey scale, which is a scale of like people reference. It's not like very actual in a way, but it's like on the scale of the Kinsey scale, like how gay are you?
uh-huh. Right
And
from
this
there.
is,
And,
and
and
they used Phil Sparrow's journals to like create this scale, and like it's more of a spectrum, right? But Phil Sparrow's like one of the people who helped create the whole damn thing. So we're like, oh, we don't talk about these legacies.
for me, it's like what doesn't make like tattooing, or at least part of that is that counterculture, right? And again, sure, like
Hmm.
biker was one part of counterculture,
Yeah,
but like one part of it. And
we
I
have
don't
a
know, for
huge counterculture. Anybody who is trying to withdraw from society in some way, or doesn't see themselves in this regular 9 to 5 life, um, was drawn to tattooing. And yeah, queer people and bikers are just one part of that.
now I wonder now. Do you want to speak to speaking of things of changing over time? Do you want to like now I guess it's kind of weird because now tattooing. I mean, we could all speak to this. It's like it's not counterculture anymore, right?
Oh
And in
yeah.
some ways, for me, it was like when I was thinking about it. Like, I mean, and again, being like a geek, who never got along with any of the cliques. I mean, I got or all the cliques equally unwell. Um, you know, like being tattooed to be cool or to not be cool is almost the same effect, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
like just getting tattooed also didn't make you counterculture. I guess was my point. It was like there's plenty of people that got tattooed that, you know, for me didn't feel like they were counterculture. I don't know. It's crazy. Although I do
Yeah.
appreciate how everyone could get tattooed.
I feel like fashion goes every 10 years, right? Like there was periods in the 80s that it was cool for a second. There's periods in the 90s it was cool for some time. And then now we get to a point where I feel like it is cool right now, but I can also hear people talk about how it is rebellious to not get tattooed nowadays too, you know? I
Yeah,
think
I've
that's
got
interesting.
a lot of clients who are very heavily tattooed, and I've known their kids, and I've watched their kids grow up, and like their kids are getting to the age of getting tattooed, and they're like, "Cool, I
Yeah,
don't need to do that."
it
But
doesn't look
then, like some of
rebellious.
them, yeah, one of the things that I think is kind of cool is they don't have to do it to be rebellious, but that also makes like better future collectors, you know, like when the life circumstances happen for these kids to be in like their late 20s and early 30s and 40s, um, people of that age that start getting tattooed heavily, I think just have better stories to tell. So, you know, whether it's culture or counterculture, when the kids of tattooed parents rebel by not getting tattooed, they're really doing themselves a favor, I guess.
Yeah,
You know,
that's smart.
I don't. I guess it's my daughter's story to really tell, but my daughter got tattooed when the shop fell apart. She started getting stick and pokes from her friends. I'm just like, oh my god!
Exactly, that's what
But
they
you
will
know
do,
what?
that's the
Fuck it.
rebellion. Yeah.
Whatever. Fine. You know, I get it. You know,
You're
and
like,
then
"You
she
have
did
all of this
eventually.
access to great tattooers," and then
But she did. Thea tattooed her. You know, after she turned 18,
Mhm.
and she went out to Buffalo and got a real nice tattoo. And you know, that's the one you know people comment on the most. But you know, anyways, it's fun to see how people, yeah, how people rebel with the kids. One of the things that struck me is at the last Paradise was one of Nick's clients, probably his client from, you know, the first tattoo gathering was there, and he had like three or four of his kids. You know, it was
Oh,
pretty amazing that well, and I immediately talked to Cecilia. I was like, "Hey, do you want to do those kids classes next year? You know, the art classes, the art seminars." And you know, the first year my wife helped, but so yeah. Anyways, it
that's
was
so
fun.
cute to be in a conference and having like a little like a kid seminar so that anybody with kids can have their drop off their kids at art class while they go to their art seminar. I love that.
Oh, it was amazing. It was brilliant, and it really helps the experience. With it's like a family experience, right? So the you know when the parents are off and doing the classes and coming back and talking about it, when the kids are also taking classes, they get to engage in that same, you know, conversation and energy. Like we went to class too, you know,
That
and
is so cute.
it's
It
Something
makes me
that
want to like hit Derb up and tell him to bring back Hex City.
yeah, yep. You know, it's so much of it's along the lines of who's got kids at the time when they're doing the producing, right? And
mhm.
let's see. I'm going to try clicking the button again. Ah, look at that. That looks like this worked out perfect too.
Sick.
Um, so let's talk about some tattoos. So now you're tattooing in the Castro
Yeah.
for a while now.
Yeah, I guess I must have been almost, I guess 9 years. Wow, that's so long.
Goes quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I do mostly fantasy stuff and outer space stuff. I would do and the dream is to do outer space and like fantasy stuff and biomech all the time. That would be fucking cool. Um, I feel like yeah, our biomech. I guess anytime I draw like something like this, then I find people to get it. So I should just draw more. But
That's
um,
almost exactly the way that it works, huh?
yeah, it's exactly the way it works. That's how I got into outer space. I started posting pictures of outer space color pencil stuff that I did, and then people were like, "Okay, it looks like you know what you're doing," you know.
Sure.
And then they
Well,
get the stuff.
and how busy are you? Are you keeping? You booked out a? How do you
Yeah.
keep your books?
Um, I once I hit a year, I freeze my consultations. So I'm about to go back into my consultations. I think I'm booked about 9 months right now. So
Well,
I'll fill up the last 3 months and then I'll be like, okay.
so that means that you absolutely 1000% get to dictate your clientele. So if you wanted to do nothing but
Absolutely.
bio all day long, you know exactly how you could do that.
I love doing the outer space though, because at this point you just like I can just draw it on after, just like, oh, here's some floaty wrecks. I mean, I've taught that seminar before, and I'm like, okay, you scribble and now they're rocks. I love the freedom of it all. It's so much fun. And octopuses, I've been doing so many octopuses. Or is it octopi? Yeah, octopi. I don't know. But those are really fun. I can draw them, and I can draw them very detailed. I cannot figure out how to say it, I guess. But wait, what's y'all's vote on? Is that octopi, right?
You know,
I
I'm
mean,
I'm having the
I feel
internal.
like that sounds right.
Thank you. I do not feel as bad now. Stand behind me in this mess up.
I admit it. I was seeing the visions of my pet octopus on the Netflix. I was hearing a podcast in my head about consciousness and
Yeah.
about how there's a level. I mean, talking about the spectrum. I'm like, yeah, there's a spectrum of consciousness. My dog is relatively conscious, but not as conscious. The octopi evidently
You're
are
like,
very
what?
conscious. And then I'm like, why do I eat? I don't want to eat octopus anymore, but I still do
Yeah.
technically eat the other meat. Can they
That's
3D
the
print the
only
meat?
one I
Wait,
don't eat.
does
Like,
she have
I
any
only
tattoos
don't
of
eat
octopus?
octopus.
You didn't send me any tattoos. So then this is all going on in
No,
my
I
head
didn't.
where I'm like, not, and I'm not seeing a
Yeah.
picture of an octopus. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I guess I should have sent an octopus picture. Oh well, these are some of my favorites right now, so that's what you
So I
get.
just looked it up, guys. Apparently, both octopuses and octopi are both acceptable and grammatically
Yes.
correct.
Okay, because I've been corrected before on octopuses, and I'm all like, I don't know, I kind of like it.
Yeah, apparently both are correct.
Octopi just sounds pretentious. I think we should scratch the whole thing. No, just kidding. Cool. So
I
this
actually,
one, the zombie eating a piece of pizza. Um, that one was I feel like that's how I used to draw when I was younger, so whenever somebody asked me for this, it was really easy for me to, like, sketch up, and I was like, "Man, I should also do more of this," and I got to put, Waverly's, the Japanese pink that's phosphorus, it's not supposed to be blacklight ink, but it just glows so good, so I got to put that Waverly's hot pink in there and the orange, and the whole thing glows under black light, and it's amazing. And it's crazy how that Waverly's Japanese pink, um, it glows for like 15 years. That's the oldest I've seen it is 15 years and still glowing versus any like black light ink that is made that like dies down and like it doesn't. Not that I like seek out black light ink often, but it doesn't. It lasts like a year or two normally after it's sealed, but then Waverly's is going strong at it. The red
you know what
doesn't
I
really
love?
last that much, but I mean
I
glowing.
love I love taking like super graphic, like two-dimensional, like graphically drawn pieces like this, and then throwing super three-dimensional space backgrounds with them, like just smashing. Like
Yeah.
it, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you and I are both capable of like making things as realistic as we choose to make them. But I
Yeah.
love when you still keep that graphic, like illustrative quality or even like a cartoon quality, depending on, the direction you're running with.
Yeah, that
Um,
stuff's beautiful. What who is that? Is it Yogi? I think it's Yogi Barnett. I don't know. But they do that, right? Like where it's like very like graphic-y and then realism with it. I was thinking about doing collaborations with my friends, like Jess Koala, like she has these like goofy little cartoons, and then it would be fun to put like realistic outer space behind it.
mhm. I think that's really fun. I think it's just like a totally different way to like mm, show off, but also have fun. Like, I don't know, sometimes when I look at Nick Baxter's work, he's capable of achieving realism everywhere, but he picks and chooses where he exaggerates and like, this liquid could look like liquid or it could look like these crazy floating bubbles.
Yeah,
Make it look like crazy floating bubbles. I think what it is I just love when you just smash different tattoo styles together or different art styles together, and then they actually like tell more of the story for the other pieces.
Yeah, and I think not being super hung up on like how realistic can I get this? Just to I don't know. I feel like in tattooing we always feel like, or for many years, I always felt like I had something to prove, you know? So then
Mhm.
realism was the way to like prove, like with good contrast and with realism, then like maybe I can get accepted into the tattoo world. Maybe they'll respect me, you know? And then
Isn't it funny? Like we
yeah, but
try, like early on, we try to like do the thing that's going to get us the respect, but like in
yeah.
reality, all we got to do is just keep adding tricks to our bag of tricks and
But I also
do the things that
realized
we
that
do.
like tattooing in a lot of different states growing up, like Missouri, North Carolina, Arizona, I don't think that I was ever like hard accepted into those communities because it was just all like a lot of bikers I tattooed with in
Mhm.
Arizona, and they didn't really want anything to do with me. They were like, "You're a woman," and like I wasn't even out then, you know. But just like I was like, "Oh, I'm like bi," you know, and they'd be like, "But you still like guys too, right? Though, okay, it's cool." So I feel like I
Yeah.
was never really getting accepted into these communities, and even whenever I was at the shop, like didn't matter what kind of tattoo I was pulling out, they still didn't want to hang out with my ass, you know. So I think the secret actually is creating your own community, and
Mhm.
also not it's really cool to learn all these like intricate tricks and tattooing, and I'm obsessed with it.
No,
um
I feel like you couldn't be more right about something that you just said. You said create your own community, and that's one of
mhm,
those things where, like, when you're confident enough in what you're doing, that people start watching you and asking you questions. That's when it starts. That's when that validation starts. Like, you might not be in like with the bio kids that you hope to hang out with one day, but like just by like raising people's consciousness and awareness that these other arts even exist. I mean, I started tattooing in a smaller town where most of the other tattooers in town were junkies. So there wasn't
mhm,
there are exceptions. There are a few other good tattooers in this town, but like for the most part, as a beginning tattooer with no apprenticeship, I'm competing with junkies that don't know anything about art. I already have an art background and I'm already like hyper aware of how I'm treating people and how I'm dealing with the skin and things like that. So in the community I started in, that tattoo community wasn't something I wanted to be a part of. They weren't my kind of people. Like my motivation was to like show the community that this can be art. This doesn't have to be just like bad lettering and smoke swirls. This can be a colorful thing that you're proud of.
mhm.
So I think it's really important that you said that, because if I would have tried to get in with the community of them, they would have only held me back. But I had to like keep my attention on my own motivation. And then in time, people noticed and the community formed around me that I might have been seeking out. So I think that's really important. That's something that I wish a lot of younger tattooers learned earlier on.
Yeah, that
Is
is
just do you, you know?
and being able to find those people who are going to accept you too, that's like it feels like a whole ass mission, but I think as long as you're like working hard on your art, then you can attract those people, you know.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how it works. People just see your work drive and they see motivation. And then, any of us that start tattooing and we take it seriously, you can see progress really quickly. Because, like, those of us that are hungry, we're constantly drawing, we're constantly tattooing, we're constantly doing the thing to make us better. And I think when you just have that drive, it doesn't matter what community you're in, people see that. And when people see that, people want to collect good art from you. And then other artists or up and coming artists or young kids that are learning to be artists or tattooers, they start noticing you as well. So I think it's just really, as much as like all of us, we just want to be in with the people that we look up to. We want the people that we look up to like know we exist.
Yeah.
And I think it's such an important thing to know that if you just work hard and continue to get better, that community comes to you. You don't have to like seek it out. Like I think about years ago, people I would have wanted to just sit and have a cup of coffee with, and now like I can text them. You know what I mean? To
Yeah,
like be able to
exactly.
like just message Guy if I have a question, or like ask Derb what this thing is, or even like put my ideas out there and have like those outlets to where my ideas can be taken seriously. I couldn't have, I don't know any way I could have worked to get myself into this position other than just like having my nose to the grindstone and working. You know what I mean? There's no like social way about it other than like
No.
showing up and learning and working, and then people see that you're doing the work, and then that
I feel like in
pulls like-minded people around you.
the guys club, you can there's some handshaking that you can do to get in. Like there's like a convention near me that like oh, you'll be invited as long as you know the guy, as long as
I
you're
mean,
friends with the
it's
guy, or
by
he's
default.
tattooed by the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm making lineups, like I try to do my best to make sure I have a as diverse lineup as I can. Inevitably, it's like I come up with two lineups, and then I'm like, wait, again, it's just default. I could come up with a list of 50 white dudes that tattoo awesome in a second, um, and all it takes is 3 seconds, and all of a sudden I've got a diverse set of right. But my default even is, and again, it's something to work past,
In diversity in tattooing.
yeah. I mean, but for me, it's like it makes more sense. It's a stronger lineup if it's a diverse lineup, depending on the
Oh
mission of it, I
yeah, I know.
suppose.
I wish that
Um,
I think that's like getting the tattoo community to realize that. Like I was on the phone with somebody recently, just a tattoo company, and to the effort I was putting in to explain to them why diversity is important and how it's lacking in the tattoo world was, I don't know, I guess it just I forget because I came here from middle America and stuff, and I'm in this bubble of acceptance and diversity, and everybody's like more chill here, you know? And then like you're on the phone with someone from like 2 states away, and then you're like, okay, here's why diversity is important, you know? And they're like, wait, what? And you're like, oh, wait, what? Okay, we're gonna have to start from the beginning. You know, this is like insane. But I feel
It's
like the
like you've
tattoo
got to
industry is
establish
still like that.
where,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you've got to
It's
establish
like,
where they are first, and then you got to start
yeah.
sometimes from like, okay, we gotta reel this back to like
Oh
just
shit, we're
manners. First of all,
starting
this
from
is
square
be
one. Yeah,
kind
this is
to
crazy.
another person because they're another person. Let's start
Yeah.
there.
Or like why you would want diversity in your tattoo conference, you know? And
Hmm.
it's, you've heard the same fucking ideas for the past 50 years. You know, like if you have diversity of like queerness, women, people of color, you're gonna get so much more creative and better ideas that you haven't heard for the fucking past 50 to 100 years. I don't know how long tattoo conferences have been going on, but it's really going to change everything. And if people are bored and stagnant, maybe stop surrounding yourself by the exact same person every
yeah.
time, you know?
For me, as as a computer guy, and again, I'm embarrassed. I could look at some of the previous conferences that I put on that were like 12 dudes, right? And it's
Yeah.
although sometimes I've also been partners with other people that have different visions or different ideas or different whatever's. Um, but for me, it's like 50% of the population are men, 50 women, or and whatever in between. It's okay, But then obviously, if the mix up of the lineup or whatever it might be is 49 to 49 too, like that would actually attract, scientifically speaking, like the most amount of people. So if we really want to do the most amount of business, I just don't understand. And I mean, that's for me as a computer guy,
Yeah.
with
You're like,
issues. I'm
love
like,
the stats, man. Like,
it doesn't
come
I don't understand
on.
any other different. Although clearly that's not the default. Like I don't understand why that's
Yeah.
not the default position.
Well, you want people to also be able to like be comfortable and speak freely, and like, so then you're like, okay, you want all of the ideas that you can get at these places where we're literally brainstorming for the tattoo community, and then you want them to be able to be in a comfortable place to where they can talk about everything and so then it's like, oh yeah, now you have, you gotta get all these tattooers who are fucking just nice to people. Can we do that? That seems really hard for some reason. Like, of just giving a place where there's no unsolicited questions or like probing about people's identities, like, or it's just like, it seems like the bare minimum here because I'm in San Francisco. But then when I'm on the phone with somebody who's like, "What the fuck is diversity?" You're like, "Oh my god." I'm back in Missouri. No, back in North Carolina, like
it's something that at Red Tree, this comes up not just with my clients, sometimes with my coworkers and their new clients, but like Red Tree itself is like a fortress. Like you can't get in unless somebody lets you in. Like there's this little like double door system, so you can come in and ring a
Is that your
bell, but like
tattoo shop?
yeah, yep. So like people can't just walk in. There's no like no, even though there are 13 of us that work there, there's never going to be a stranger that just walks in that's not let in by somebody. So like the shop is physically very safe and there are cameras and alarms everywhere. So the shop itself is physically a safe place to be.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love discussing is how it's really kind of like a safe haven for our clients. Our clients share a lot of personal things while we're tattooing them. And, when we're talking about like large tattoos, bodysuits, things like that, clients have to be comfortable to be nude and be in their own skin. And, there are all of these
that's another
ways that just ways that people can be made uncomfortable. So like one of the nice things is that like everybody at Red Tree, Derb's got a knack for finding good quality people. So like the artists, we never have to worry about one another. I know my clients are safe in the same room with another artist. I never have to worry about somebody making an off-color comment about race or sexuality or anything like that, because it is such an open, safe, accepting place. But early in my career, that wasn't the experience that I had. There were people that had been to prison, and then you go to prison and you come out with different views that aren't real world. So sometimes when you have to hear that rhetoric around a tattoo shop, like,
I know.
I had clients coming up to me from Columbus, and there's nothing like catering to a client who happens to be Black, and then one room over, you can hear somebody spouting off
Some racist
Aryan
ass
Brotherhood
shit.
stuff. Yeah, it's just
that's like a
so for
lot of the
me,
tattoo industry is like this white
that
supremacist
yeah,
hetero
that was a
fucking.
huge motivating factor in I gotta have my own shop. Like, not that I'm necessarily a control freak, but I need to have a safe place for me and my clients. I don't
Yeah,
want to
you
be
need to
putting
be
a
able to
client through
curate that
trauma
shit.
and then have them be uncomfortable because anything going around them. I want them to be comfortable with me. I want them to be comfortable with their environment. I want my clients to know that they're safe, like in all ways, like emotionally, physically, like you're safe when you're here. And I think that's part of that like sacred connection that some artists acknowledge, like our clients should be safe with us. And that's where diversity is so incredibly important in the tattoo community. Our clients need to feel safe with us and they need to feel like emotionally taken care of, because these are traumatic things that we're doing to them. Like, yes, they're asking for it, but it's still traumatic and they still need to feel safe.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing to do for a lot of people is take that first step to walk into a tattoo shop, because you don't know what to expect. It is a very vulnerable place. I mean, we all know that clients have a hard time like saying like when they want to move the stencil, and we always reassure them, oh, it's okay, you can do this as many times as you want. It's a vulnerable and intimidating place already, so the best thing you can do is make the place like not shitty when they get there. Like make it easy, be nice to people. um there's so many different ways of doing this. I do like I was my friend is visiting Meg Salad, who tattoos, was in St. Louis, and about to move to North Carolina. But we were talking about like the time whenever I was like, I took over the shop, and then I was like, wow, like some of this flash is like totally like culture appropriation and stereotypical and kind of fucked up, right? So I was going through this shop, and this shop has been there for like 23 years or something. It was like
Mhm.
long before me. Somebody put up this flash. And so I'm like going through, I'm like taking down all the stuff that's like just fucking inappropriate and just like racist. I mean, I want to say low key racist, but like if you like look at it for a second, you're like, no, dude, like that's
Mhm.
totally fucking like
You know,
culturally
that is something
appropriative and fucking
when we
racist. So why would I keep it on my wall if I want clients to come in and love this space? So
Mhm.
many tattoo shops have that problem. Is like, all right, the flash can immediately send a signal that somebody is not safe there, and like
what's
considering
funny is
every aspect of this tattoo shop, you know?
we do have a lot of tattoo history throughout Red Tree, and we've got some old hand drawn Stony St. Clair flash. And at the time it was drawn, these were totally normal and completely acceptable. So we still have it on display, but there's like gaff tape over anything that could be taken as offensive. So like you could fill in the gaps like what it probably is,
Yeah.
but it doesn't.
Well, it's
Does
nice
that
enough to
piece
at
of
least cover it
history?
because you're not sending the signal of like,
Yeah,
no, this is what we
we
believe, you know?
yeah, we're still sharing the history because the history is important. If it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have what we have today. However, we are a tasteful enough team that there was actually like a discussion like, should I even hang this? And it was like, we pretty much covered them, like just like on the glass, not on the original
I
drawing.
actually got a lot of or like some pushback from certain artists in the shop at the time of being like, no, like, isn't that like too radical? I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, it shouldn't be up there. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, this was remedied with like two little pieces of 1-inch gaff tape, so not
yeah,
even like a
totally.
huge deal. But it was just one of those like really should be displayed, but it also like none of us feel that way, but it should be displayed for the history standpoint. So like you modify it a little bit so we're
I feel
not
like I
giving
can
anybody
walk
the wrong
into
message.
like a lot of tattoo shops and immediately like see the stuff they have hanging up and I go like, yep, I don't know if you'd like me very much, you know, like, and I think that signal can be sent so quickly.
Yeah.
But I think there's so many different ways to curate a shop to make it feel safer and be safer. Um, let's see other examples. I mean, getting rid of people who actually make clients uncomfortable or make coworkers uncomfortable because everybody needs a safe, secure place to work. Like you said, you had to open up your own shop to get it. That's exactly
Mhm.
why we opened up our queer ass shop, is just to get that like sense of like you walk in and you just get to be like, you don't feel uncomfortable. You don't wonder who fucking like secretly or outwardly hates you, and there's also a whole filter for clients. Like I think
Mm.
I've got a lot of like straight clients, and I mean of course, you know, but I'm in the historical gay district of San Francisco, like um the gayest place in the fucking world, and then our shop is like a queer tattoo shop. So I'm like, whoever walks in here past all those flags, they're probably great. So I don't even have to worry about the clients. Like there's just like this filter. And I can tell some people, like most people are like, oh yeah, fucking whatever, you know, let's get tattooed. I'm like sick. And there's not even a thing. But some people I can tell they're a little nervous to be there. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. We're not gonna kill you, you know, like or this you're fine, you know.
You just want to
Uh,
be like it's actually not contagious.
Yeah, well, I think they just want me to know that they're cool being there. Like, so there's this anxiety that sometimes, and you're like, well, yeah, I know, you know, like you walked in past all that shit. Yeah, you're fucking good. But then some people are be like, so, you know, my cousin's gay. They're cool, you know. And you're like, yeah, it's cool, man. Like you're totally good.
Oh man. Oh.
But I love having like this type of filter. Like it's like, all right, if there's like a there's a giant flag in the lobby, right? That's like a small thing you can do to just like add a filter. Because your clients are safe people, then you also have a safe shop, you know? So you're like, I don't know.
And I guess
I don't let
part of
any
part of
cops
this.
in uniform walk in. That's another thing. I've had cops in uniform come in and I go, "You have to leave, come back in street clothes. We don't need any of this," you know? And they're all like, "Oh." I'm like, "Sorry, there's a lot of trauma in the queer community of y'all of like us like having to fucking set cop cars on fire and riot against fucking police and y'all beat the shit out of us for years. What'd you expect?" You know, like the whole history of it is like, no, dude, you can't come in here in uniform. Plus, if there's any like people of color in my tattoo shop, a fucking cop, that's so alarming, you know, like, jeez. But
And,
yeah,
and that was
a little thing.
right there in the Castro, right? So there was a culture of the police just beating people up, beating
Yeah, just
your
pulling
people
them
up,
out
and
of the bar next door has been there for God, like I think I want to say like 45 years or more. But it was the very first gay bar in the world to have windows like that you could see through. They used to have the windows painted, and they scraped all the black off, like of the windows to just show they weren't scared anymore because the raids and riots are just like ridiculous. I mean, of course, in the Castro, there's a lot of queer people, but that's why they all made that neighborhood. Was the more queer people you had there, whenever the cops would come, they'd blow the whistle, and then all the people would come out of their houses and storefronts and everything, and they would all fight the police and scare them off and get them away because it was so brutal the way they were like just murdering people, you know, and assaulting them and all that. So it
kind
became
of
like
know.
a
I don't think enough
safety.
people really know.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
So it's like a place that was formed out of safety for queer people. So everyone had those whistles around their neck. So whenever the cops would come and they were being harassed by them, they could blow the whistle, everybody could come out and be like, "No, it's our neighborhood." And then they would like leave, you know, and you're like, "Oh, okay." So then they built this entire area for that. But we have like little pamphlets at the shop of like how this area existed and all the riots and stuff that had to come to even make it
yeah.
happen,
And,
you know?
and the original, what I think one of the original topics was like, we're going to end up finding the spaces, right? But I think that those spaces are actually, and you are
Fought
part of the
for.
people that create those spaces, right? Like,
Yeah.
Hell City and Red Tree exist because Derb created those spaces, and it does always amaze me. Like, I don't know if he's like overly political or anything, but like for a 6'5", white dude who had suffer across his throat, he's always been very open and very like, I've never heard him say anything racist or
Yeah,
sexist or anything like that.
Dirb's incredibly yes, he's politically correct, but like he's also like genuinely like I mean this in the very best way, but like he doesn't care. Like he
Right.
loves working with women, he loves working with LGBT community, he loves working with artists of different ethnicities.
Yeah.
I
Like it's not something like for him, he's just genuinely a person that doesn't care about things like that. So it's just natural and easy for his team to be diverse. Um, some people have to kind of learn and work towards it. But it is funny talking about Derb because like he came up as like a skinhead skater punk. He just
Right.
didn't happen to be racist. It was like
But he saw it and he could relate to
This
that
is the
kind of.
owner of Hell City. Is that
Yeah.
what it is? Oh.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's one of the I mean, just Derb being him and just like honestly not caring about things like that. He cares about like if somebody's a decent person, if they're easy to get along with, if like they're contributing something back to the community in some way, if they're hungry to learn, like so
I
to
think we
actually
do have
see
to like
somebody.
we do have to care about this stuff too because whenever we go to these different conventions and stuff, we can walk in and see the racism and everything at all these different booths like represented in the artwork very casually and
Mhm.
it's the like I don't know, I don't love going to conventions. I really like the Seattle convention. They're very sweet to us. They fucking love our asses. But most conventions I go to, I walk around and I'm like, just like out of artwork and symbolism, you're like, oh fuck, I shouldn't talk to you. No, you wouldn't like me, like stuff like
Mhm.
that. So
That's
I think there
that's
is
one of the
like an
nice
aspect
things.
of like what we're trying to do with like our conference is like it's not that we don't care, like yeah, people can like everybody and whatever. It's like no, we're like specifically care. Like we're gonna like at our conference we're like we need a seminar on colorism because
Mhm.
racism in the tattoo industry is crazy. Also, this conference will be for queers and allies specifically. Um, and the whole idea is to have like an actual lineup of diverse teachers
Mhm.
and making sure that everybody has like access to be able to go through like our scholarship programs. um so like it's great whenever people are like, oh yeah, like I love everybody, it's cool, whatever, but like to actually put in the effort to care, I think can mean a lot. Uh, Especially, I mean, what we saw at Queercation, the tattoo conference for like queer and ally, it was
Mhm.
like the freedom of people, the way you could see people relax just being in that crew of people, it was
Yeah.
incredible. People could speak their mind.
One
People
of
who
the
you
things
wouldn't think
that's
be able to speak their
important
mind
about,
at a tattoo thing, you know.
sorry, one of the things that's important about events like this is I'm in Columbus, Ohio. It's an incredibly diverse community. You're in San Francisco. It's an incredibly diverse community. So
Mhm.
acceptance is kind of like in our backyard all the time. But
That's why we took it to New
that's not the
Mexico so
norm.
they could access it, like so
Yeah,
they could fly
that's
in cheaper and all that stuff. And we had
yep, yep.
people on our crew who had family and like stuff there, so we were like, okay, let's bring it to a place that they don't see it all the time. Like we do it in San Francisco,
Mhm.
California. Yeah, yeah, we've seen it. You bring it to like just a little bit closer and easier for people to fly into in New Mexico. People haven't seen that before.
Mhm.
We
The,
It's
had
like a
people
whole
from
nother planet
all
if
over
you've
the
never been
world.
there.
and
Yeah,
I will forever remember the vision of the karaoke. Who
that was
with who?
amazing. Oh my
Who
god,
fucking? Oh, yeah, I saw Who at Hell City, which I was pretty psyched.
it was
But
amazing.
uh, that karaoke night, man, he killed it. Oh my god, like sorry, stellar performance in karaoke night,
It was like
and
Mr. Cellophane Man or something. We were
yeah,
not expecting that. That was
you know,
so
I
amazing.
don't know why I didn't like. I mean, like for me, it's like 10 seconds in, I'm like, oh, of course, like it makes so much sense, like, but because he like, and I didn't want to disparage the karaoke singers that were on before him or after him, but
But
there
oh
was a
my god.
scale, like a factor of difference, and like that guy, or they
Yeah,
can
he's
fucking
great.
do it professionally if they want it, or at least that song professionally. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
like
he
one
was
that they
in
know.
theater, because I
Mm.
did the interview on Live in the Castro, on the Reinventing channel with who, and he got into art at first through theater and prop building. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes so much
Yeah.
sense that you can do this like performance. That was unbelievable.
It was, the reactions of the people in the area there were tremendous, and but again, if it was hard for me to pay attention to the other people's reactions, I was just like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Yeah, but and to your point, like just again, as an ally, as a straight white vanilla dude, it was amazing to just to your point, like I try my best even at Paradise, to bring open minded people around, but
Yeah.
to your point, like we all still have stupid questions because it's not, because we just have stupid questions, and to see,
I mean,
everyone
I
just
always go to
chill.
those things and I'm happy to answer those stupid questions, but I'm like, for the next person who's coming in behind me, like, what do you got? But I mean, that's why I like doing all the panels and stuff like that. But it's just it's a magical place. I just yeah, I want it to be shared with everybody. I love that shit.
Well, in this spot in New Mexico, I hope to go back someday. But would you have any plans for any future events like this, or that you could talk about, or?
Well, the conference that was so amazing and all based on education and seminars for advanced tattooers and young tattooers. and education, I think, is like my passion, especially for like the queer community, because they have less access to apprenticeships and stuff. Like, I don't know, it's harder to get an apprenticeship, just is, you know. As yourself, without anything that you have to like hide if you can, you know.
Sure.
So what I want to do, and what me and Leslie, you know, we've talked about it before, and so also the Queer Tattoo Alliance and all them, we've all talked about this before, but we'd really like to figure out how to do the convention, and I'd like the convention to be with seminars that tattoo artists can take, but then also have the convention setting for clientele.
Sure.
So I'm actually I'm taking a grant writing course. I think that starts tomorrow. I should know that. It starts tomorrow. So then I can start working on getting funding for a queer tattoo convention. And I would love to do it in San Francisco, because that's
Awesome.
the kind of thing that you want, like,
Put in the
all
heart
your
of the
supportive ass
country.
clients, you know, to be able to
Sure.
go to. And we have like the most open queer artist here in the Bay Area, so I think that would be really good. But what I
Awesome.
hope for is 2025, but we'll see how funding goes.
Awesome. Perfect. 2025 is that's the
That'd be
year after next year.
yeah, that would be so
Yeah.
cool.
I really appreciate the way that you think ahead, and you really, do have a community-minded mind, right? And again, this is where I just noticed in myself, over the past, 15 years working with different groups of people. It's my default is just to do it kind of alone. I don't need, I mean, I could always use help, right? But,
Yeah.
watching different groups that probably out of, it's seemingly out of necessity, which sucks, but it's a benefit. Like, you actually have a group and a community of people that actually care and give a shit, so, and I guess that's maybe hopefully how it all evens out or whatever, like, because there's people that actually give a shit on one side, and the default is, again, my default is just, going along with the ride, right?
Yeah. Well, you gave a shit. You helped, like, I didn't know how to put together a conference, but you're willing to share all of your notes and, help out with that. That's fucking incredible. And then now that we've done the conference, we have way more people who are down to
Oh,
volunteer and help us with the convention or
awesome.
another conference, So
Awesome.
it's incredible. Yeah.
I'm happy to help in any way that I can, because it's all I could do,
Yeah.
And, but awesome. Well, this has been awesome. I do have to close out the show. I've got a 10-minute video of people saying nice things about Paradise. Ha!
Cute. I haven't seen this.
Oh, it's nice. I just kind of put it together, and
Okay.
we do have dates for next year. So, but first, how do people get a hold of you?
You can hit me up on Instagram at h.adamstattoos, or on my website, Haley Adams Tattoos, and the tattoo shop is Castro Tattoo SF on Instagram, or just search Castro Tattoo.
Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. Well, thanks again. And I'm going to play the video here, and you can drop out anytime if you want to.
Cool. I'm going to watch
Okay,
this.
let's see here. QR codes. I don't know if you noticed, I have the QR code up here in the corner there, taken off.
Cute.
Let's see here. And, one more. Boom. And
The Paradise Tattoo Gathering is one of my favorite events that I look forward to all year long. One of the cool things about any of the Paradise retreats or gatherings is that it's education oriented, but we're like celebrating the art as well, and we're celebrating what brings our community together as tattooers and artists. This is one of those events that, like, if you're early in your career, this can be a game changer because you get to meet the artists in a very intimate way
I didn't really know what I was coming to. I feel like it was super chill, super friendly, very familiar. Not a regular tattoo convention, not really a convention, more like a hanging out of people who really share the love of tattooing and want to improve. I was talking about that with people this morning, how the tattoo industry and tattoo conventions, there's like a ranking and status and a lot of ego. But I realized that the type of artist that comes here is somebody who really cares about their art and their craft, and their objective is that. And that sets the vibe for everything.
My name's Annie. This is my first time at Paradise Gathering. I have been watching this since the BYOB online and been like wanting to go to it. I'm only been tattooing for a year and a half, and my whole time here was spent doing seminars, and they were super helpful. And I'm really hoping that there's another one of these because I'll be going and dragging my coworker with me.
Hi, I'm BJ Johnson. I go by Soba1. It's soba1.com. What did I like about the Paradise Gathering? Man, this is like my fourth time here, I think. I love the grounds are amazing. The layout is amazing, and the type of people that this show attracts is very much in alignment with, education, growth, camaraderie, like I've said before. So yeah, that's why I like this one.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Ramey. This is my first year here at the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. Everything that I experienced here was everything I thought that this industry was supposed to be. Like when I decided that I even wanted to pursue this, I want to learn, I want to grow as a person and as an artist, and everybody here fosters that mentality. I learned so much from quick interactions with people that I have always been too intimidated to even approach. But I also attended seminars that gave me a whole new viewpoint on what it is to even be doing what we are doing, and what we are doing is important.
My name is Mickey Schlick, and Paradise Tattoo Gathering was awesome this year. We got together and had a lot of great education, sharing of ideas, and meeting good people. Fun time to hang out.
Hi, I'm Lita Edwards, owner of Metamorphosis Inc. out of Florida. Paradise this year was absolutely amazing. Even at my length of time, 15 years in tattooing, I absolutely come and I learned so many things that I didn't even know. So it's a great event. It helped hone my career in the beginning 12 years ago. And so I'm super excited. I'm very proud and honored to be a part of it this year.
So my name is Jason Leeser. The Paradise Tattoo Gathering this year in 2023 was absolutely incredible. I made some amazing new friends, got to meet some of the people I really look up to and learn directly from. The amount of knowledge I gained while I was here is unlike anything I've ever encountered anywhere else. I've taken seminars from incredible artists all over the place. Nothing compares to the environment and the atmosphere, learning that I got to do here at the Paradise Gathering this year. It was unbelievable, and I highly recommend it to anyone that wants to really level up their game, really take their tattooing to another level, and really get better at the core fundamentals of art and design and tattooing.
I'm Renee Little. I own Goldfang Gallery. I've been tattooing for over 17 years, and this is my second time at Paradise Tattoo Gathering. And again, it was a wonderful display of people coming together and artists coming together and being able to play in the sandbox of life. We all got to paint every day, or learn every day, or commune with others every day. There is an option every single day, every hour, I think, to do just about anything you could do in this field. It was a great networking moment. There's a lot of apprentices here, so I know every single seminar was filled. And also a great opportunity to network and also to refine your painting skills, because you can just do that wherever you want and anywhere in the property. So it's been a beautiful weekend. The weather was gorgeous and the hill was gorgeous. I tattooed a lot. I tattooed every day. And I was surrounded by some of my most favorite artists that I've ever known of. We're all here. So that was cool. And I got to meet a lot of people that I've never met before too.
My name's Chris Adams from Lucky Hand Tattoos. Love the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. Actually was sitting on the toilet one morning, scrolling through, popped up on my freaking feed, and I was like, holy shit, I gotta do this. We drove here from San Angelo, had a great time. Paradise is the perfect name because everything here is just awesome.
I am Sandy McAndrew. I am from British Columbia, Canada. I'm working with Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo, and I'm here at the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. We're just wrapping up, and it has been incredible. I've been dreaming about coming to this for, I don't know, as long as I've been getting emails about them from Gabe, and dreamed about it, and it's been everything that I hoped for and more. Just surrounded by people learning, getting to tattoo, hanging out with amazing people, and making really awesome connections. Very grateful that I got to come out here. Thank you, Jake and Gabe and everyone else.
So I'm Anthony Politano. I tattoo out of Asheville, North Carolina. And this is my first time at the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. I was very fortunate to meet Jake and be guided into this. And after a lot of hesitation, I'm very glad that I came. My brain is full of new information. It feels like I haven't heard anything new in a long time, so it's really refreshing. And also exciting to meet a bunch of people that are as passionate about tattooing and growing as I am.
So the Paradise Tattoo Gathering for me has always been a big deal. I've been coming here for years, and every time I come, I go back home changed and with so much more in my bag of tricks and inspired, and it's just always been like such a game changer for me to come here and take the seminars and talk to the like-minded artists that through these conversations there's always something that comes up that I take home with me, and it's really an experience like no other. It's a very retreat-like gathering that I really appreciate, and it's been wonderful, like always.
Hi, I'm Amber, and I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. Honestly, I visited 2016 Paradise. This year's Paradise was awesome. The panels were excellent. The accessible free material was excellent. I see that there were a lot of excellent learning opportunities in terms of seminars. Honestly, I've had a great time seeing all my friends I never get to see and learning new tips and tricks about tattooing. I think it's just a friendly vibe and a beautiful spot. This is the most relaxed tattoo convention you probably could visit.
Hey, my name is Caroline Evans, and I come to the Paradise Gathering whenever I can. To me, it is just it's an artist retreat. When you are nearing burnout or just needing inspiration, this is a place to come and get it.
Hey, I'm Amy Nichols. I am the host of the Apprenticeship Diaries podcast, and I also have a mini private studio down in Maryland called Beyond the Pale Art Studio. I love Paradise Artist events. They're really amazing. I try to make them as much as I can, and I was so happy this year I got to present. And if you are to present here, I'll have you know that it will surpass your expectations as well. Every time I come here, it's amazing. It's truly paradise. In fact, when we were doing the collaborative drawings that we do here, usually, I heard one of the girls that I brought, she's new to these events, she said, "This really is paradise." And I was like, yeah, girl, it is. Beyond that, you just gotta come. You gotta come and experience for yourself. There's not very much I can tell you guys, except for every person that I talk to, it's life-changing to come here. It's invigorating, and it makes you want to tattoo in other ways and so much more than you ever thought you could. So do it, you'll have a new heat for what you love.